prayer.
Tanya Bond leading the land acknowledgement and prayer. Sorry, I missed that part.
To introduce Dallas Councilman Omar Narvaez.
Thank you so much. My name is Omar Narvaez, and I'm the Dallas City Council member here in the city of Dallas. I represent District 6, which is just on the other side of I-35 from here. First, I want to thank the Intertribal Council for AT&T for sponsoring this event and hosting this event. Why am I here? I was asked to come speak, and the main reason has a lot to do with that I just believe in civil rights, and I believe that all people are created equal. And 3 years ago, we discovered that we did not honor or celebrate Indigenous Peoples Day here in the city of Dallas. And 3 years ago, we were able to get a unanimous vote. It wasn't easy, but we got it. We got a unanimous vote to have Indigenous Peoples Day here in the city of Dallas. And during that day, it was a difficult day because we had a detractor. And you know, when you're at City Hall, it's like it's supposed to be this special day. And now when I reflect on it, it's like I realized that it actually needed to happen that way. It's because Native people here in this country have been battling the colonizers since the day they got here. And it made no change when it was at Dallas City Hall, the day that we were trying to honor Natives here in the city of Dallas. And that fight continued. The warrior spirit continued. And when we had the celebration a couple days later, the first ever, we did it at Dallas City Hall. And during that day, something was done to me that I knew was so powerful, and I didn't know that it had been planned, and I got blanketed. And that was one of the biggest honors that I've ever had in my entire life. And I wanted to share that with you all because to show that we can be allies and not take over and not try to do something without the actual people being at the table and doing the things that need to be done on behalf of Native Americans here in the city of Dallas. So this year, fast forward 3 Indigenous Peoples Days later in the city of Dallas, we moved the event last year and then this year out onto the Ron Kirk Bridge and the Felix Lozada Gateway. So if you're familiar with Dallas, next to Trinity Groves. And what made that so impactful and special was that I didn't want to do this at Dallas City Hall. I wanted to do it where some folks had taught me and educated me on the Trinity River. And I had no idea that it was actually the Arcacosa River originally. And so I wanted that honor to be there so that we could continue to talk about and educate and make sure we're advocating for the name, the original name of this beautiful spirit, which is the Arcacosa, that it wouldn't be forgotten here in the city of Dallas. And we're working together, and there are groups who are working to change the name permanently. I'm working with another group of people on education in the city of Dallas, and hopefully next year or the year after, we'll see some major changes happening here in the city. The next thing I did, and I wasn't doing it intentionally, earlier this year, happened to nominate somebody to be on the Arts and Culture Commission, and she's here, and I know she always says, he always talks about it, but Jody Yellowfish, Voice Yellowfish over here, to serve on the Arts and Culture Commission, because I thought, well, we need that Native voice. If it's arts and culture, Native American culture is part of arts and culture. Well, by doing it, I just think she's an amazing, beautiful person who gets stuff done. And then I found out that historically, Jody is the first ever Native American to ever be appointed and serve on a board or commission in the entire history of the city of Dallas. Now, of course, that's something to celebrate and something to be excited about, right? But it also angered me because how is it 2021 and she's the first ever? So hopefully soon we'll have more and more natives appointed to boards and commissions. Hopefully soon, one day, a Native American will run for a city council and get onto the city council here in the city of Dallas. Because we know in the federal level, we got our first congresswomen, right? And they're natives, and and they're doing good stuff. And this is why we have to keep working together and uniting. And there's nothing more exciting than Native American History Month and the way we're getting to celebrate it here in this space. And I just now looking up, and I hadn't seen the image, turn around and look at this gigantic video board and this beautiful work of art that's up there. And to know that the city of Dallas, AT&T, is behind you, working with you, and we're here to celebrate you. Happy Native American History Month, everybody. Celebrate.
Thank you, Omar. Please stand as we honor those brave Native American warriors that fought for our rights, for life and liberty. This flag stands for their belief, and these lands are still ours to defend. Leading our way and carrying our eagle staff is Ben Thunderheart of the Northern Cheyenne and Sioux tribe. Following Ben Thunderheart and bringing in the United States flag is Lloyd Duck, United States Army and a citizen of the Cherokee tribe. Bringing in our Texas state flag is Eli Browning, Comanche descendant, United States Army active duty. And following in the rear, last but not least, bringing in the POW MIA flag is Daniel Alvarez, Apache, and Comanche descent. United States Army missing but not forgotten. Following our color guard is our beautiful men and women, traditional Native American powwow dancers. The drum would like everyone to know the grand entry song is a Kiowa chieftain honor song. Our drum singers are Frank and his son Michael Tongame and Rick Longfox. You may have noticed that the POW flag came in counterclockwise. That is in honor of the soldiers that are still missing. We are going into the flag song. At this time, we would like to honor the flags before us. It is important to remember, no matter what, these lands are still First Native lands. This Kiowa flag song was composed out of the Second World War. The words in the end describe how the flag is still flying, and it is good. Thank you for that beautiful flag song. Let us take a moment to go back to the drum with a memorial song. There are people in need of our prayers at this moment. Through the drum, let us take a traditional moment to honor our past, our present, and our future generations. Now we will dance the colors back out with the Kiowa Veteran Song. This song was composed by Kiowa elder Leonard Kozat Sr. It was composed at the end of the first Gulf War. The words are acknowledging that it is good they came back to us.
Oh,
dancers, and singers. Everyone may now be seated. Thank you. And first up, we are going to hear from Sandra Black Bear Ramirez, and she is going to talk a bit about the Indian Relocation Act.
Putting the panel chairs up there.
My name is Dalla, Black Bear Ramirez, and I'm a member of the Kiowa tribe and a descendant of the Apache tribe of Oklahoma. I've been a member of the Dallas-Fort Worth American Indian community since 1963. I'm also an active member of the Dallas Indian Mission United Methodist Church. I wanted to share with you about the Indian Relocation Program of 1956. It's also known as Public Law 959. It encouraged American Indians to leave traditional lands and to assimilate into the general urban areas. It was a plan designed to take care of the Indian problem. So over 100,000 of my relations were moved during this period. The Relocation Act also created more intergenerational trauma for Native Americans to experience and more broken promises. If relocation had succeeded, if it had worked, then our treaties would not have been honored. Once again, the U.S. government planned to act as Indian givers, taking back whatever they promised the American Indian. And in their assimilation plan, it was designed to move American Indians from the reservation or tribal trust lands, and in many instances as Native Americans, we were moved from one area of poverty to another area of poverty. The federal government's hope was to eliminate reservations and tribal trust land. Their vision was to eventually there would be no more BIA, no more tribal governments, no more reservations, and no more American Indians. Then the U.S. dream would be achieved. They would make tribal land taxable and available for purchase and for development. Again, opening another frontier of land development as they had since the inception of the United States, by getting rid of the American Indian, but instead they created a new space for us to survive. The relocation program was very attractive to many of us in the U.S. government because subsidies had been decreased by the U.S. government to those living on reservations and tribal trust lands. The Relocation Act offered training, offered moving expenses, and they eventually attracted many Native Americans. U.S. legislatures kept saying they must move outside of their own tribal lands in order to get jobs or job training. So once again, we invested in their journey. Under the Indian Relocation Act, many Native Americans were relocated to Dallas, Texas. Dallas was one of the many urban sites, some selected for job opportunities and new beginnings for Indian families. We left behind our homelands in Oklahoma and different reservations through the U.S. Later, our other families and family members and friends followed. By 1970, there were more than 20,000 American Indians representing 90 tribes. They removes lack of a support and nurturing circle of tribal elders and our extended family. The transition, of course, was cultural shock. As Native Americans, we've encountered prejudice, racism, and negative stereotyping, which has made it difficult to find employment, transportation, and especially to receive adequate housing and health care. As today, as American Indians, we continue to rank near the bottom of education, employment, and health because of the generational trauma experienced as a result of programs like the Indian Relocation Program. Even so, there was a mass migration that profoundly changed Indian country. Today, more than 2/3 of the Native American population lives in cities like Dallas, Texas. We're not on our reservation lands, and we're not on tribal lands. The 2010 U.S. Census puts the Dallas-Fort Worth area Native American population at 43,390. I suspect the numbers have gone up and have increased, or will increase, next year when we get our results of the 2020 U.S. Census. Our legacy continues to grow. We have experienced mistreatment as a people, and our tribes have suffered at the hands of the United States government. But as a people, we envision a different and better tribal life in the future. We are optimistic that the United States will honor our sovereignty, our ways, and our traditions. And every day that I live, I remember that my grandmother and her grandmother's grandmother and her grandmother's grandmother's grandmother and so on, has always prayed for this land. So if the U.S. is successful, it is because of our grandmothers. Amen?
Thank you, Sandra. Next, we have Jody Yellowfish, who is going to talk to us about MMIW.
Hello. Hello. Good evening, everyone. Like Rachel mentioned, my name is Jody Boyce Yellowfish. I'm Oglala, Lakota, Muskogee Creek, and Cherokee. I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas, and I chair the organization MMIW Texas Rematriate. MMIW is Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, and what our organization does is help families in crisis situations when their loved ones are missing. That can be grandmas, moms, aunties, sisters, daughters, and we uplift our two-spirit relatives and everyone, really. If a family is in need and their relative is not with them, that's when if we're asked for help, we step in and we try to stand in the gap and fill in as much as we can and help families navigate that situation safely. We help them create flyers, we talk to media, we talk to law enforcement, we try to provide resources, and we deal with a lot of different obstacles. A lot of MMIW work isn't just that they're missing or they never return home, because that happens, but more often than not, when our relatives go missing, they do return home. And then that's when all the questions happen. But that's when a lot of what you see in social media, when you see all the red and the handprints and the signs, and that's just one piece of what we're doing. A lot of the work starts when they return home. We need to ask the questions, if they're teens and they run away, why did they run away? Why can't we keep these people safe? Why can't we feel safe in our own home, in our own communities? We didn't start as a group that felt we were gonna be what we are today. We started under American Indian Heritage Day in Texas as just a program that we were utilizing to create awareness and help our community be educated on domestic violence resources and understanding the Violence Against Women's Act and things like that. And we were this sort of conduit to find resources, and then we kind of turned into a resource, and we kind of branched out, and what we do is help find people to the best of our ability. And even though we're an organization, our community is always with us, because just this past few weeks we're helping a case, and she was recovered overnight last night, and she had been gone for almost 20 days. But even though we uplift and celebrate the fact that she is with her family, her journey is just beginning. We need to be able to have the infrastructure and the resources to help her. She left for a reason. She is in a world of, her world is upside down at the moment. And what can we do to help is the question that we need to be asking. It doesn't end when she gets home. We have to find these resources to help our people heal from any trauma that happened before they left or any trauma that happened while they were gone, and help them heal and recover once they're back in their homes and their communities. And I know this is kind of a damper to talk about when we're at a celebration, but that's our reality. We deal with this every day. There's not a day that goes by that our organization isn't asked questions, even if it's just for education purposes. If you're ever out and about and people ask you, don't be afraid to tell them what MMIW is. Don't be afraid to say, we need help, we need more resources, how can you help us? Like all of our members, we have members sitting on the panel. Sandra just spoke, she's a member. We have singers that are part of our members. And we had nearly 20 volunteers this weekend help us get flyers out. You know, and they're volunteers, they're from our community, they are just as important as any member that we have in our organization. So keep that in mind when you share a post and you share a flyer or you see something that we're doing. You're always more than welcome to come and understand this crisis and how you can be a part of the solution and how you can combat it. So yeah, I just want to put that out there and know that even in this celebratory mode, we need to keep in the back of our mind that we're always here to help when that situation arises, because we never know when that's going to happen. And I especially would like to, big shout out to ICAE, not just for this event, but since we began as an organization, they have supported us and backed us up in many, many ways, and things like that help keep our work going and help what happened with this last case happen again. Flyers and being on the ground and all of that stuff. They've always uplifted our work, so we're always going to be here to uplift their work as well, and I hope you uplift their work, and I hope you have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. We enjoy partnering with you. You're doing such great work in the community. Thank you. At this time, we would like to invite our dancers into our dance area, and we would like to call upon our host drum for a set of intertribal songs. The drum gives the singers the good spirit to sing for our dancers. The dancers dance for all of us. That feeling, good spirit, is passed to everyone, and the circle is complete. Please take it away, gentlemen.
full shirt.
Sorry, right?
Yes, sir.
Get my mouth water every time you say when a chicken did. I used to work here. You look familiar like I don't know, I've seen before, but
Well, they say I look kind of like Tom Brady, so if you look at Tom Brady.
I only look at Tom Brady when the linemen break that barrier.
When they sack him.
Son of Eli. No, Eli for a long time.
Yeah, we saw it with.
I used to work downtown with the Plain team, and I would see the Main Street Garden, and that's when I first started going to talk powwow, and I sound the God, and the sound, the echo of the powwow downtown.
Yeah, it'll be here on the 20th. 20th. It'll be I think about a 4-hour powwow, like 11 to 2.
I'm from Bronx, New York. My bloodline is Florida, Liverpool, Miami, Jamaica, Cuba, and Puerto Rico. And when I first left New York and came to Texas, there was no movement. And then when I came to Oklahoma and started seeing, it was so much like the spiritual side of the Spanish and the African and the Indian that is known in the island. And all the scents of the ceremonial herbs and everything, it just took me back. And it was just, I kept going back and back and back and back. And yeah, I became a medicine man. That's how nosy I got, so, it was a blessing that to visit son of Eli before the pandemic. I was sick with the Six Nations. Just let it throw off everything. And when I go back and sit with them, I got so much family out there. They married into Six Nations. Really, just long coming. It's like a tear. Somewhere there's a tear.
Pulls you in the heart.
Yeah, I took my mother to the Choctaw one time, and everybody I take to that powwow, and I say stand in front of the drum, they cry, and they say, I don't know what it is, it's pulling at my heart. I said, just let it be, that's God. You're texting God to get you. So yeah, it's like a beautiful day.
Sitting over there and I looked around. Jessica said, I'm going to get some BeyondBows&Arrows shirt. I looked over there and said, man, I got to get over there and tell him that shirt to school. This is the new shirt too.
Oh, that's when I'm going to work. It's such a, I think it's good and little. Bring out like some of Eli. When I first was here, I would see the natives and say, hey, guys, there, we're talking. And they were here. And then it was nothing to just burst and celebrate what it is. Yeah, I love you guys on the radio.
Thank you.
I try to do my house cleaning and everything, and try to help my sister with her, sister. That's the thing to try to hit get to the time radio station.
Well, we appreciate it, man. Oh goodness, there's that thing.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That is cool. I can't even get it all in one shot here.
That's so beautiful. I need to learn how to do like that now. So I can know this.
Yeah, a lot of times I'll be thinking about, I'm going to say this and this and this on the show, and then I get up there and everything just goes out the window. Wing it most of the time.
Yeah, that's what I learned a lot about, I hate getting to a lot of people we can get into that point where native. I said, I was nosy from the Bronx, not scared, and I wanted that they invited me at Sundance, and But yeah, it's amazing. My name is Black Eagle. I don't know if you ever, when I do, like I said, I call in.
1, 2. Okay, there we go. We're good. Hey, good evening, everyone. My name is Albert Old Crow. I am the host of Beyond Bows and Arrows American Indian radio programs on every Sunday evening between the hours of 6 and 8 p.m. on 89.3 FM Dallas Fort Worth, the voice of the people. That radio program has been around since 1983. That's when the radio station itself came into existence. Two individuals that had a big hand in that, Frank McLemore and Dennis Wakini, they started that. It was like a 30-minute slot, and they only had one album. They did the one album for maybe a month or 2 months, and then they got the second album, it's Chief Dan George, Proud Earth. So they struggled with those two albums for maybe a year. And then what happened is that somehow they came across Canyon Records there in Phoenix, Arizona, and lo and behold, through what Dennis would call that, divine intervention, Canyon Records started supplying them with music. And so that was when vinyl, some of you young kids don't even know what vinyl is, and cassettes. Had to have the pencil when it messed up. You had to play doctor on that. So the initial house was over in the fast part of town, San Jacinto and Carroll Avenue. It was a 2-story house. I don't know how it even was standing up. I think the radio equipment kept it together. Where we were upstairs, and you could look through the cracks in the floor, and when you heard the door open, you could look down and say, "Oh, okay, yeah, it's okay. It's not straight people," because we had straight people coming in all the time there, and also gunshots. And so I became involved with Beyond Bows and Arrows in 1996. This past October, I celebrated 25 years of helping with the show. Thank you. The main thing is that the reason why I'm still there is because nobody else will do it. I've got my two helpers, co-hosts, Jessica Johnson and Corey Worthen. Raise your hand, Jessica. She doesn't like to be recognized, but yeah, she's a big help. Corey helps out. We're all the time looking for volunteers to come down and learn how to run the show. I had no experience in running the radio program. I showed up there at Taste of Addison, asked Dennis, "You need help?" "Sure." He gave me the little address, and I drove there, and been showing up ever since. And Dennis, he quit showing up around 2001, 2002, and I've been taking care of that. Corey and Jessica and I have been taking care of that since then. There's been a lot of other volunteers that's come into play. We have had many volunteers help out. Encourage you to call the radio show, because when it first started out, Dennis and Frank were members of the Baha'i Faith, and the Baha'i Faith is the one that pretty much helped out answering the telephones, and they also helped out financially. They're the ones that carried the radio show for about the first 5 years. And so out of that, we have pledge drive once every quarter, every 3 months, and we ask individuals to help fund the radio show. And we have been very successful in doing that. Some of you have told me that you called in and made a pledge. On that pledge, hey, you got 3 months to pay for it. Hopefully, we can continue. I'm just there temporarily. In my life, everything's temporary. Hopefully, there will be somebody else come along that will help join up with Corey and Jessica, help learn to operate the board. It's not that hard. I mean, if I can do it, anybody can do it. We also have guests from the community come in. And whenever that happens, they're nervous. This microphone makes them very, very nervous. I mean, they're sitting there, and I said, it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. And then I'll do a little countdown. Okay, 10 seconds, 5 seconds, we're fixing to get on. Fix your hair. Man, they're fixing their hair, acting like they're going to be on TV. But it's all good. We have fun. We also talk about different things. We have individuals from the community come in and talk about their church activities, especially when there's fry bread involved. Fry bread, it doesn't matter. Fry bread, any fry bread is good. Even the burnt fry bread is good. That is dropped on the ground, that's okay, I'll take it. One of the things that has evolved out of this for myself, in 1998, Dennis received a letter from an inmate at the Fort Worth Federal Prison. And he says, my plate is too full, maybe you can do something with this. I went out there, visited with the inmates. I was a little concerned because they may not let me out. Because that background check is not always thorough. Something could surface. Long story short, I continued going out there. I found out that the inmates, each one of them has a way to listen to the radio show. And they tell me that that's an opportunity for them to escape for 2 hours every Sunday. And that makes me feel good. I go out and do sweat lodge ceremonies with them. Go out, some of you in the audience went out with me to the annual powwow. It touches my heart to know that the radio show is touching them in a positive way, because I've had some of them tell me, I almost got in trouble, but I knew if I got in trouble, I would not be able to listen to the radio show, so I let it slide. And so that's powerful. And I always try to tell them that, hey, once you pay your debt to society, don't hang your head down. Once you get out, be able to look at everybody in the face and be okay with yourself. Hopefully, while they're in there, they have a change of attitude. Some do, some don't, some get called back. And so, just remember this, when you donate to the show, you have no idea the lives you touch through the radio show in a very positive way. Hopefully, the show will continue on forever and ever, as long as the grass grows and the water flows. But you know how that goes with the treaties. I will close with this. Hopefully, each and every one of you will listen to the show, spread the word. I used to joke around, say that we're the best kept secret in Dallas, Texas, because there was a lot of people that didn't know about the radio show. But what's happening is that Indian Country Today, Texas Observer, and there's one other publication I forget. They did a show on us. They did NPR, correct? Yeah, NPR mentioned BeyondBows&Arrows, and so that was great. I didn't know that we would be out there on social media as much as we were, and so hopefully you all will be able to hear my words and share with others. Sunday nights, 6 to 8 o'clock, tune us in, call in, we'll make fun of it. No, we won't make fun of you. but we will have a good time. That's the main thing. Thank you.
Thank you, Albert. So next up, I'm going to introduce the artist for this beautiful image that is up on this 104-foot media wall. Brian Larney is the artist, and he is also the CEO of American Indian Heritage Day of Texas. Brian will speak a few minutes to tell us about the image. Brian?
Halito Stingo, thank you to AT&T, to ICAE, AT&T Discovery District, and the Ginsler Design Group for the assisting me in creating this work. My name is Brian Larney. I'm the Executive Director for AHD, which is American Indian Heritage Day in Texas, and then also Indian Citizens Against Racial Exploitation. We also wanted to say thank you to all the elders with their strong hearts and powerful words. I also wanted to say thank you to the drum. I also want to thank you to the speakers and also to all the dancers. To me, this is all of the cultural equity and equality for American Indians during this month. So I wanted to speak on, I'm speaking from the old ways and the traditions. We are survivalists of genocide, so this is an equality and equity lens for American Indians. Native American Heritage Month commemorates these histories and cultures. We share the experiences, remembrances, celebrations, and civil rights moments. This is the existence of our songs, dialects, our regalia, and ceremonial drum. These are the stories of our people, but we are the dreams of their existence. We do not forget that we have been erased in Texas schools, nor eliminated from American Indian history, and also being removed, having the Indian Removal Act being removed from the curriculum and ethics studies. We're humbled to pay and want to pay respect to our water, land, and sovereignty protectors. This artwork is in honor of Mother Earth and her rivers. We need to address the global climate change as well as integrating more with the animals on this land. We're moving forward to create a resolution to change the Trinity River back to the original namesake, Archicosa, from the dialect of the cattle people. The butterflies honor the memories of our Canadian Indian residential school systems and our American Indian boarding school relatives who were murdered at the schools by their government and their sponsored religious sectors from the two countries on stolen land. So I wanted to say thank y'all for y'all coming out. I know this is a good celebration. I know this is a good collection of people getting together after what's been going on. But I wanted to just say thank you because y'all are out here and y'all are representing all the sovereignty, all the sovereign nations. You represent your grandparents and all the other sovereign nations that has been removed or erased. So I want to say thank you. Take care.
Thank you for partnering with the Intertribal Council of AT&T employees and with the AT&T Discovery District. This was actually the second year that Brian created an image for this beautiful wall. So I guess we're a little bit behind schedule, so the image is gone, but it will be back up at 7:48. We're going to go ahead and move into our last intertribal.
I'd like to say ho, thank you, and ako, welcome. And how about a round of applause for our beautiful traditional dancers out here that have made the good energy for us tonight as we dance for those that can no longer dance. My name's Sate Ota Ekani. It's my Kiowa name, and my name's Michael Tonkame in the English way, and I represent the Stumbling Bears and the Tonkame family and many other families up there that I'm honored to be associated with. And I'm honored to be here tonight and sing with my father here. That he's 84 now and he's still going, and it's good to see familiar faces out here that are we haven't seen in a long time, or that they've come to our organization and used to be part of our powwows that we used to put on in Kids Springs. And I just want to, again, thank each of you for your positive vibes. And we're going to have some singers coming in with this November 20th. Out here, we're going to have a mini powwow right out here in this area. There's going to be a competition, and it's going to be winner-take-all categories, combined categories of men and women. And so there will be 6 different contests going on for winner-take-all. And we're going to have some more singers come down from Oklahoma and sing with us. One of our Kiowa drum keepers of our Omaha Society will be down here sharing beautiful songs with everybody. So please bring your friends and your families and come back with 2 or 3 more people. And I just want to say a ho to the ICAE, the Intertribal Council of AT&T employees, for allowing us to come out here and be part of celebration with each of you. And I'm honored to be in celebration that way, in good ways, because come December, we're still going to be celebrating Native American Heritage Month and all that we stand for, and then our lineage and our peoples out there that need us to be strong and stand tall for them. And it's a good feeling down here. I'm honored to be here, and I'm honored to be here. And also, I'd like to end with, this Wednesday they're going to honor my father up in Carnegie, Oklahoma, for an award for his time that he served when he was able to catch the